This reviewer video is for the NAPOLCOM entrance test for the Philippine National Police. This is reviewer number 2, featuring questions on the criminal justice system. There are 20 questions featured in this reviewer. All questions are modeled on actual questions that appeared on previous NAPOLCOM PNP entrance tests. Before you proceed, please don't forget to subscribe to Review Central and click the bell icon to make sure you are notified of all new reviewers and other important updates. Let's begin. Question number 1. It is a general pardon extended to a group or classes of person and is exercised by the President with the concurrence of Congress. It is usually given to political offenders. Its purpose is to bring about the return of dissidents and recalcitrant members of our population to their homes and resumption of their lawful pursuit. A. Bail. B. Pardon. C. Commutation. D. Amnesty. The correct answer is D. Amnesty. Amnesty is a general pardon extended to a group or class of persons, often political offenders, and is issued by the President with the concurrence of Congress. It aims to reintegrate dissidents and others back into society, allowing them to resume lawful activities. While pardon also involves forgiveness for offenses, it differs with amnesty in scope, application, and legal implications. A pardon is directed at specific individuals and forgives the individual for a crime they were convicted of, absolving them of further punishment. Unlike amnesty, a pardon does not remove the criminality of the act itself, or rather, it excuses the individual from the consequences, such as serving a sentence. Also, pardons are usually granted after conviction and may restore certain rights but don't erase the criminal record associated with the offense, whereas amnesty is a general forgiveness that removes the criminality of the act altogether, treating it as if it never happened. In essence, amnesty clears a crime for a group, erasing legal implications, while a pardon forgives an individual's conviction, excusing them from punishment but often leaves the conviction itself intact. Bail and commutation are other legal concepts that have different and distinct meanings and applications. Question number 2. This was created to amicably settle cases within their respective barangay, punishable by imprisonment not exceeding 1 year. A. Commutation. B. Barangay trial court. C. Brigandage. D. Barangay court system. The correct answer is D. Barangay court system. In the Philippine criminal justice system, the barangay court system was established to amicably settle disputes within the community level. It handles cases where penalties do not exceed 1 year of imprisonment. Question number 3. Donna abandoned her 2-day-old daughter in front of an orphanage in a bid to conceal her dishonor. Unfortunately, the street dogs mauled the helpless baby, resulting to her death. What is the crime committed by Donna? A. Homicide. B. Abandonment. C. Infanticide. D. Parricide. The correct answer is B. Abandonment. Although it could be argued that infanticide seems to apply due to the baby's age and tragic death, what Donna actually committed is the crime of abandonment because she left the infant in a situation that directly endangered her life. Under Philippine law, abandonment occurs when a parent leaves a minor in circumstances that may endanger their life, such as in this case, where the baby was left helpless in a vulnerable environment. Since Donna's act was leaving the child rather than directly causing her death, the crime of abandonment aligns with her act of leaving her baby in a dangerous situation, leading to the tragic outcome. Question number 4. Is the life and practice of highway robbery and plunder? A. Piracy. B. Conspiracy. C. Brigandage. D. Holdup. The correct answer is C. Brigandage. Under Article 306 of the Revised Penal Code, brigandage refers to the crime of being part of a group that commits robbery, typically by ambushing or attacking travelers, usually involving multiple perpetrators. This differentiates brigandage from other forms of robbery, which may not involve organized groups or the same scale of theft. Unlike a holdup, which is typically committed against a single individual, brigandage is often associated with a group of criminals who terrorize communities or large groups of people. On the other hand, piracy is related to maritime crimes on the high seas or international waters. Conspiracy is an agreement to commit a crime, but not necessarily the crime itself unless followed by overt actions. Hold-up involves robbery with force or threat of force, usually targeting individuals in public settings. These offenses are distinguished by their contexts, that is, maritime versus land-based, methods, that is, violence, intimidation, or collaboration, and scale, that is, individual versus group involvement. Question number 5. When a person is charged with an offense and the case is terminated either by an acquittal or conviction or in any manner without the express consent of the accused, the latter cannot again be charged with the same or identical offense. A. In flagrante delicto. B. Duplicity of offense. C. Plea bargaining. D. Double jeopardy. The correct answer is D. Double jeopardy. Double jeopardy refers to the constitutional protection that prevents a person from being tried twice for the same offense after a final judgment, either acquittal or conviction, or when the case is terminated without the express consent of the accused. This principle ensures that a person cannot be subjected to multiple trials or punishments for the same crime, protecting the individual from undue legal harassment. It is enshrined in Article 3, Section 21 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Question number 6. These are the rights required to be recited by a police officer except such information will imperil the arrest. A. Bill of Rights. B. Miranda Doctrine. C. Human Rights. D. John Doe Doctrine. The correct answer is B. The Miranda Doctrine is the specific legal requirement for police officers to inform an individual of their rights during an arrest or custodial interrogation, and it can be waived only if the information does not endanger the arrest or the investigation. The Miranda Doctrine, or Miranda Rights, is named after the U.S. Supreme Court case Miranda v. Arizona, 1966, which established the requirement for police to inform suspects of their rights during custodial interrogations. The case involved Ernesto Miranda, who was convicted based on a confession he gave without being informed of his right to remain silent or to have an attorney present. The court ruled that statements made by suspects in custody are admissible in court only if they were informed of these rights beforehand. This decision led to the practice of reciting Miranda warnings, thus giving rise to the term Miranda Doctrine. These rights are now a standard legal protection in many countries. The Miranda warning may vary slightly depending on jurisdiction, but it generally includes the following. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Question number 7.
The Makati City Prosecutor's Office has filed a charge of inciting to sedition against Senator Trillo for allegedly encouraging the military to shoot the president. What is the punishment if the senator is found guilty of the crime? A. Prisión mayor in its maximum period and a fine not exceeding 2,000 pesos. B. Reclusion perpetua. C. Reclusion temporal in its maximum period. D. Prisión correctional in its maximum period and a fine not exceeding 2,000 pesos. The correct answer is D. The crime of inciting to sedition under Article 142 of the Revised Penal Code is punishable by prisión correctional, 6 months and 1 day to 6 years, in its maximum period, that is, 4 to 6 years, and a fine not exceeding 2,000 pesos. Note that inciting to sedition is not the same as committing sedition itself. Sedition is defined under Article 139 of the Revised Penal Code. Sedition involves acts aimed at inciting people to rise publicly and tumultuously against the government or its lawful authorities, without the intent to overthrow it, but to commit acts like preventing government functions, inflicting any act of hate or revenge upon public officers, or seizing government property. The penalty for sedition varies based on the nature and role of the person involved. For leaders of a sedition, those who organized, directed, or took a leading role, the prisión mayor, or up to 12 years. For participants in sedition, the penalty is prisión correccional, or up to 6 years. Additional penalties, such as fines or restrictions on certain civil rights, may also apply depending on the specific actions and the discretion of the court.
Question number 8.
Mario killed Petra, his common-law wife, and their daughter. What is the crime, or are the crimes, committed by Mario? A. Multiple homicide. B. Mass murder. C. Homicide or murder, and parricide. D. Multiple parricide. The correct answer is C. Homicide or murder, and parricide. In the Philippine criminal justice system, a common-law wife, even though the two individuals may be living together in a marital-like relationship, is not legally recognized as a spouse in the strictest sense. The legal recognition of marriage in the Philippines is governed by formal civil or religious rights, so in this case, the killing of the common-law wife would be treated as homicide or murder, depending on the circumstances, rather than parricide. However, parricide applies to the killing of a direct relative, such as a parent, child, or spouse. Since the daughter is a direct descendant of Mario, her killing would be considered parricide. This distinction is consistent with Philippine jurisprudence, which clarifies that only a lawful, that is, legally recognized, spouse is included under the definition of parricide. Take note that there might be confusion stemming from the broader interpretation of spouse in certain contexts where common-law partners are treated similarly in some legal matters, like inheritance or other civil law issues. However, in criminal law, particularly under parricide, a common-law partner is not classified in the same way as a legal spouse.
Question number 9.
It is when the person to be arrested has just committed, is actually committing, or is attempting to commit an offense. A. In flagranti delicto. B. Warrantless arrest. C. Probable cause. D. Citizen's arrest. In flagranti delicto, or answer choice A, is the correct answer, as it refers to a situation where a person is caught in the act of committing a crime, or when the crime is apparent as having been committed. Whereas, warrantless arrest refers to the general concept of arrest without a warrant, which can occur under certain conditions, including when a person is caught in flagranti delicto. Probable cause refers to the legal standard that justifies an arrest or search, but it does not necessarily imply that the crime is observed in the process of being committed. Citizen's arrest is when a private individual, not a law enforcement officer, arrests someone, typically for a crime witnessed being committed. However, this would be limited to the situations allowed by law, including the person being caught in flagranti delicto. The correct answer, in flagranti delicto, is supported by the revised penal code and relevant Philippine jurisprudence concerning arrest laws.
Question number 10.
The government agency that directs, supervises and controls all district, city and municipal jails nationwide is the A. Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. B. National Penitentiary. C. Penal Colony. D. Bureau of Corrections. The correct answer is A. Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, or BJMP. The Bureau of Jail Management and Penology is the government agency responsible for directing, supervising, and controlling all district, city, and municipal jails nationwide in the Philippines. The BJMP operates under the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, and ensures the proper management and custody of persons deprived of liberty in jails across the country. On the other hand, National Penitentiary refers to the Nubilipid prison located in Muntinlupa, which is managed by the Bureau of Corrections, and handles those sentenced to long-term imprisonment. Penal colony generally refers to a type of correctional facility, such as the Iwahig Penal Colony in Puerto Princesa, but it is also under the jurisdiction of the Bureau of Corrections. Bureau of Corrections, or BuCor, supervises national prisons like the New Bilibid prison and other penal colonies but does not oversee local jails, such as district, city, and municipal jails.
Question number 11.
This was established under Batas Pambansa 129 known as the Judiciary Reorganization Act of 1980. It is composed of 1 presiding justice and 68 associate justices. A. Ombudsman. B. Supreme Court. C. Sandigan Bayan. D. Court of Appeals. The correct answer is D. Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals was established under BP 129, known as the Judiciary Reorganization Act of 1980. It is composed of 1 presiding justice and 68 associate justices, and it serves as the second highest court in the Philippines, tasked with reviewing decisions from lower courts and administrative bodies. Whereas, Ombudsman is a separate office tasked with investigating complaints against government officials and employees, but it is not related to the Judiciary Reorganization Act. Supreme Court is the highest court in the Philippines, but it was not established by the Judiciary Reorganization Act of 1980. Sandigan Bayan is a special court that handles cases of graft and corruption involving public officials, but it is not the correct answer in this context.
Question number 12.
Nora, a pharmacist, is preparing a medicine for Vilma, a cancer patient. Instead of using the prescribed drug, she erroneously used a highly poisonous substance. When the medicine was taken by Vilma, the latter nearly died. What is the crime committed by Nora? A. Frustrated murder. B. No crime was committed. C. Frustrated homicide. D. Reckless imprudence resulting to physical injuries. The correct answer is D. Reckless imprudence resulting in physical injuries. In this scenario, Nora committed reckless imprudence because she used a substance that was not intended for the prescription, leading to physical injuries, that is, Vilma nearly dying. Reckless imprudence occurs when a person performs an act with lack of precaution or care, resulting in harm to another. The fact that Vilma did not die and only experienced near-death consequences supports the conclusion that this is a case of reckless imprudence resulting in physical injuries, rather than a more severe charge like homicide or murder. On the other hand, frustrated murder would require that the accused intentionally tried to kill someone but was unsuccessful, which is not the case here. No crime was committed is incorrect because the act of giving the wrong, poisonous substance clearly resulted in harm. Frustrated homicide would be applicable if the intent to kill was proven, but this case describes an error rather than an intentional attempt on the life of the patient.
Question number 13.
It involves community supervision in lieu of prison. A. Probation. B. Parole. C. House arrest. D. Community service. The correct answer is A. Probation. Probation involves community supervision as an alternative to imprisonment. It allows offenders who have been convicted of a crime, typically a lesser offense, to serve their sentence outside of prison, subject to conditions such as regular check-ins with a probation officer, maintaining employment, or undergoing rehabilitation programs. Probation aims to reintegrate offenders into society while minimizing the social and economic costs of incarceration. Parole refers to the conditional release of a prisoner before the completion of their sentence, based on good behavior. It is different from probation, as parole occurs after a person has served time in prison. House arrest is a form of detention in which an individual is legally required to stay within their residence rather than being placed in a jail or prison. This restriction on movement may be a condition of bail, parole, or a sentence, depending on the circumstances. Community service refers to a type of punishment where an offender performs unpaid work for the community, but it does not involve community supervision in the broader sense of probation.
Question number 14.
This Latin phrase literally means stand by things decided. A.
Stare decisis.
B.
Actus rois.
C.
Aberratio ictus.
D.
Pro reo.
The correct answer is A.
Stare decisis.
The Latin phrase,
Stare decisis.
literally means, to stand by things decided. It is a legal principle that obligates courts to follow precedents, or previous rulings, when making decisions in cases with similar facts. This ensures consistency and stability in the law. The principle of
Stare decisis.
is fundamental in common law legal systems, such as the Philippines, the United States, and the United Kingdom. On the other hand,
Actus rois.
refers to the physical act or conduct of committing a crime, a key element of criminal liability.
Aberratio ictus.
This refers to an unintended consequence in criminal law, where a person hits an unintended target while trying to harm another.
Pro reo.
Refers to a legal doctrine that emphasizes the benefit of the doubt being given to the accused in criminal trials.
Question number 15. In the law enforcement pillar of the Philippine criminal justice system, which of the following is not included? A. National Bureau of Investigation. B. Philippine National Police. C. Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. D. Bureau of Corrections. The correct answer is D. Bureau of Corrections. The Bureau of Corrections, or BUCOR, is part of the corrections pillar of the system, not the law enforcement pillar. The BUCOR handles the custody and rehabilitation of convicted persons sentenced to long-term imprisonment, which is outside the direct scope of law enforcement. The law enforcement pillar of the Philippine criminal justice system is primarily composed of agencies responsible for the prevention and investigation of crimes and the enforcement of laws. These include, but not limited to: 1. The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI. This agency is tasked with investigating crimes and enforcing national laws. 2. The Philippine National Police, or PNP. The PNP is responsible for maintaining peace and order and enforcing national laws. 3. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA. This agency is in charge of enforcing laws related to illegal drugs. Question number 16. It entails the supervised release of offenders after they have served a portion of their sentence. A. Parole. B. Probation. C. Incarceration. D. Community service. The correct answer is A. Parole. Parole refers to the supervised release of an offender from prison after they have served part of their sentence. Parole is granted with the condition that the offender will comply with specific rules and regulations during their release, and failure to do so can result in their return to prison to serve the remaining portion of their sentence. On the other hand, probation is a court-ordered sanction where an offender is allowed to remain in the community instead of being incarcerated, often under supervision. Probation typically applies to those who have been convicted of lesser offenses. Incarceration refers to the confinement of an offender in prison for the duration of their sentence and is the opposite of release on parole. Community service involves performing unpaid work for the community, often as an alternative to incarceration or probation, but it does not involve supervised release after serving part of a sentence. Question number 17. It is the stage where the accused is formally informed of the charge against him by reading before him the information or complaint and asking him whether he pleads guilty or not guilty. A. Appeal. B. Booking. C. Arraignment. D. Preliminary investigation. The correct answer is C. Arraignment. Arraignment is the stage in the criminal justice process where the accused is formally informed of the charges against them. This is done by reading the information or complaint in their presence. The accused is then asked to plead either guilty or not guilty to the charges. It is a critical step that helps ensure the accused is aware of the case they are facing and that their legal rights are respected. On the other hand, appeal refers to the process by which a party challenges a decision made in a lower court, seeking a review or modification from a higher court. Booking is the process that follows an arrest, where the suspect's personal information is recorded, and they are formally taken into custody. Preliminary investigation is a stage where a prosecutor assesses the evidence presented to determine if there is enough ground to file charges in court. Question number 18. Of the following, which is not among the primary goals of the criminal justice system? A. Enforce laws and maintain peace and order. B. Ensure that no innocent person shall be convicted of a crime. C. Protect human and legal rights of both suspect and victim. D. Develop capacity of local government units to strengthen their crime prevention efforts. The correct answer is D. Develop capacity of local government units to strengthen their crime prevention efforts is not among the primary goals of the criminal justice system. While strengthening local government crime prevention efforts is important, it is not one of the primary goals of the criminal justice system as defined by its core functions. The primary goals of the Philippine criminal justice system are, among others, 2. 1. Enforce laws and maintain peace and order. This is a central role of law enforcement agencies in the system. 2. Ensure that no innocent person shall be convicted of a crime. The justice system aims to ensure fairness and due process to prevent wrongful convictions. 3. Protect human and legal rights of both suspect and victim. Human rights protection is a cornerstone of the Philippine justice system, ensuring fair treatment for all parties involved. On the other hand, answer choice D is more aligned with local governance and community crime prevention programs, rather than the core function of the criminal justice system itself. Question number 19. It is an authority conferred by law to act in certain conditions or situations in accordance with an official or an official agency own considered judgment and conscience. A. Discretion. B. Jurisdiction. C. Judgment. D. Privilege. The correct answer is A. Discretion. Discretion refers to the authority granted by law to act in specific situations or conditions according to the judgment and conscience of an official or agency. It allows individuals in positions of authority, such as judges, law enforcement officers, or public officials, to make decisions within the bounds of their legal powers, based on their own judgment and evaluation of the circumstances. On the other hand, jurisdiction refers to the official power or authority of a court or agency to make legal decisions and judgments. Judgment refers to the formal decision made by a court or official in a case. Privilege refers to a special right or advantage granted to a person or group, often in legal contexts, but not specifically tied to the exercise of authority or discretion. Question number 20. It is a systematized process which the government uses to maintain social control by enforcing laws and administering justice to maintain peace and order. A. System of corrections and rehabilitation. B. Philippine criminal justice system. C. Justice League. D. Law enforcement. The correct answer is B. Philippine criminal justice system. The Philippine criminal justice system is a systematized process employed by the government to maintain social control by enforcing laws and administering justice. Its main objectives are to maintain peace and order, uphold the rule of law, and ensure fairness in the treatment of all individuals within the legal system. It includes law enforcement agencies, courts, and correctional institutions working together to prevent and address crime, enforce legal rights, and rehabilitate offenders. System of corrections and rehabilitation refers to the part of the criminal justice system that deals with convicted offenders, focusing on rehabilitation and reintegration into society. Law enforcement refers specifically to the agencies responsible for enforcing laws and maintaining peace, which is just one part of the broader criminal justice system. Justice League is a fictional concept and not related to the real-world justice system. You have just completed watching the NAPOLCOM PNP Entrance Test Reviewer Number 2, featuring questions on the criminal justice system. Check out more related review videos and playlists on our channel. If you find this useful, please like and share. Leave a comment to share your thoughts or questions regarding this reviewer or any particular part of it. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to Review Central and click the bell button to get notified of all future reviewers and updates. Like and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Good luck to your forthcoming NAPOLCOM PNP entrance test, and we look forward to your lifelong career in law enforcement.